I'm Ashish, and as you all know, this is my channel Medico Acme India, and today we are going to discuss the multicellular animals. So when we talk of multicellular organisms, then what happens? Suppose there was a single cell and at first, and then what happened? The assemblies, or you can say the assembly of these cells occurred and the evolution started. So suppose this was a cell and this now form the aggregate and form the multicellular organism. So what happened? This cell has given rise to the tissue. So if you will go to your basics like in class 8th, 7th, 9th or kind of thing, then you will find that all the tissues have the similar kind of cells which have the partition of their job. Job say I mean, कि suppose one of the organism is there and it has different kind of, suppose take the example of C. elegans. C. elegans is the simplest, you can say, multicellular organism which is widely studied. So what happens, you will see here the same cells with the same function are assembled together. They can be assembled by the different kind of cell junctions like gap junction, tight junction or any junction you will say. So what happens, these tissues have a kind of similar cells, and these similar cells further are going to make an suppose kind of organ. So these organs have different tissues. Suppose the function of an organ kind of like you can just suppose liver. So liver is different kind of cells. Suppose hepatocytes are there. Some of the like you can say Kupffer cells are there. So these cells form the aggregate and has the different kind of cells. Some are for immunity, some are for metabolism, some are for like kind of production of any chemical, suppose bilirubin. So these have different types of cells. Then these organs, different organs will now form a what? Body. And these body is the organism. So then organs assemble to form an organ system, and organ system will now give rise to the body, full body. So this happened and we came into existence. So guys, now there are different like kind of attributes. Attributes say I mean different principles or features which will be used as the basis of classification for multicellular organism into different phylums. So what are those criteria actually? I am going to discuss this today. So the first thing you will see in the cell is the assembly of cell, or you can say the morphological. Suppose my class actually is divided into two parts. This level of organization things, all the morphological things, morphological basis of criterions, or you can say morphological features. I am going to discuss today, and the another will be physiological kind of features which actually are used to classify the organism. So morphological may I will cover the level of organization, body plan, all the morphological things, level of organization, body plan, body symmetry, and many more things. And in the like kind of physiological features, I am going to cover the reproduction, respiratory system, all the criteria like viviparous, oviparous, what are those organisms. I am going to cover all those things in the next class. So today my main focus will be on morphological basis of classification of multicellular animals, basically not plants but animals. So guys, let's discuss. The first thing is level of organization. So guys, level of organization. Level of organization, say I mean how the cells assemble. How are the cells assembled? Suppose some animals are there where you will find only the tissue level of organization. Some of the organisms in which you will find the organ level, in organ system and all. So what are those animals becomes the part of your questions. So questions sometimes are asked that what are the which organism has the organ level of organization. So this becomes very important job to learn all those things, because direct questions are asked from these topics. So this is very hot topic for MSc entrance if you are appearing for BHU in zoology like things, and DU, all the MSc entrances, all the like kind of JRF exams, CSIR, DBT, ICMR, and NEET. So these things are very important. This class is universal for NEET and JRF exams. So please go ahead. So guys, what happens? First is the cellular level of organization. Cellular level of organization means, suppose there is a fluid, it's just like the connective tissue. Take the example of connective tissue like blood. What blood has? Blood has all the cells are there, corpuscles you will say, are there, and this forms the connective tissue. So suppose this blood cell, or you can say the vessel, as an independent organism. So this will constitute what? The cellular level of organization, where the only cells, you can identify different cells at different places. So guys, cellular level of organization, we have example of sponges. Sponges are basically the polyphyra. Actually what happens, there are synonyms of different phylums. Suppose sponges for polyphyra, cnidarian for coelenterata, and all those things are like Scalmanthus, you will say. Scalmanthus are nematodes actually, roundworms. So roundworm, Scalmanthus and nematodes, these all are the name of what? Scalmanthus. So guys, what happens then? There comes the tissue level of organization. Tissue level of organization is seen in the coelenterata, and coelenterata means cnidarians, and ctenophora. Some texts are not considering ctenophora, so please go ahead with the ctenophora because it's very simple, and don't leave these topics. These are very important because they have complex like things, which becomes very important part of the questions. Sometimes what they ask how many completes are there in the ctenophora. So this is universal that 8 completes are there in the ctenophora. So try to remember all these things. So guys, now the organ level of organization. Organ level of organization is seen in Platyhelminthes, and some of the nematodes. Or you can say Scalmanthus, you will find the organ level of organization. In some organisms onwards, you will find the organ system level of organization. Organ system level of organization. So these are annelids and onwards. Annelids to chordates. Annelids to chordates, all the animals you will find the organ system level of organization, where what happens, some organs are like assembled and they form the organ system for a particular function. So suppose digestive system, all the organs are assembled like kind of liver, pancreas and all the things assembled, and then you form the system. Then different systems, like 8 systems are basically found in the organism, including the endocrine system. So these all assemble and form the animal. So annelids to chordates, annelids onward you will say, have the organ system level of organization. Now the second thing is body plan. What is body plan? So body plan is, this was the organization, means levels of organization, how they actually evolve. But the second thing is how they have assembled to form an organ system or body. So the body plan is plan of the body, or plan say I mean here. Plan say I mean second number. Plan say I mean here that the plan of body or the anatomical aggregation of body you will say. So the first thing is here, the first basis is cellular aggregation. Cellular aggregation again has independent cells, as you will say, different cells and which form the multicellular organisms, and in this category there is only the sponges are here. So guys, sponges are here which has the cellular organism. Different organs are, different cells are there and they will form the what? The body plan of the organisms, as I said of the connective tissue example. So guys, what happens now? blind sac body plan. What is blind? Blind means you don't have like kind of eye. In general, if I am saying. So what happened here? In blind sac, there is only one opening. What is the opening? If you will consider any organism, you will find like kind of, you will say, suppose this is a fish. Then you will find that there is a mouth and there is a anus. So these are the two different openings, and this is just like the what? Tube, hollow tube. You have two openings. From one you will ingest and other with the eject. So ingestion and ejection are the processes which are related with the two ends, and this will act as the hollow organism. So every organism is a hollow organism. They are actually evolved from the like kind of cylindrical body organization. So blind sac has only one opening, and the example here is Coelenterata to Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes. Please spell it correctly. Helminthes. Okay. So Platyhelminthes are actually the flatworm. Platy means flat and helminthes mean worms. So platyhelminthes are the flatworms which has found, but the only exception here which do not have the blind sac but the higher is tube within tube is the Taenia solium tapeworm. Taenia solium. Taenia solium has the tube within tube plan. Otherwise, all the Platyhelminthes, Coelenterata, and you can say Pterophora, all they have what? The only one opening at the apex, and from there only the what happens? Ingestion and ejection both occurs. So guys, tube within tube plan from Annelida onwards, Annelida to every kind of organism up to the Chordata, you will find two kind of openings. So guys, what happened? Tube within tube means there is a hollow tube, and in that there is tube, in that there is tube. So up consider what is this? Suppose this is your body, surface, skin, and suppose this is your alimentary canal, the another tube. Alimentary canal. Suppose third is your small intestine, another tube. So this is the tube within tube. First tube is you, second tube is your digestive system, and third tube is your small intestine, and the another tube you will talk of like kind of lacteals. Lacteals are also tubes. So you will consider of tube within tube plan of the organisms which you will find in Annelida to Chordata. So guys, the third important thing here comes is the body symmetry. Very important. Very important actually. These are many times asked in the examinations, and the Echinoderms and Coelenterata are the main target, or even the main hotspot of the questions which are asked in the CSIR exam or ICMR, DBT or NEET. So let's discuss the body symmetry. Third morphological feature is body symmetry. Symmetry means if there are two things, at how much extent they are similar. So this is the what? The symmetry. Symmetry means one and another, what is the resemblance. So body symmetry is something here which is related to the kind of resemblance. Suppose if you have an organism, then you have cut it into two parts, and you will see that this organism and this organism is similar, the two halves of the organism. Then it will be what? It will be symmetric. And if there is no resemblance with the one and second, suppose there is an amoeba which has very irregular shape, like this kind of structure, you have cut into two parts, they are two different things, then they are called the asymmetric. But that was actually the unicellular organism, but we are now considering the multicellular organism. For multicellular organisms, asymmetric organization is found in sponges or polyphera. Polyphera, take an example like Spergilla, you will learn later. But remember that the sponges have the asymmetric kind of organization. asymmetric kind of organization. Asymmetric body is found in what? The porifera or sponges. Now, the another is the radial symmetry. What is radial symmetry? Let's learn. Radial symmetry is something in which, suppose there is a organism, there is a star, suppose. This is a star. This is a star with 6 of this kind of thing. But if you are cutting from this side, you will find 2 halves. If you are cutting from this side, you will find 2 halves. Cutting this side, you will find 2 halves. And suppose if you are cutting horizontally, then you will find the 2 halves. There are 4 equal halves which can be made, or 4 or more you can say, halves which can be made from an organism. So radial is that thing only where if you are cutting from any plane, please remember and now note down the definition. From any plane, if you are cutting, then you will find the equal halves or the identical halves. So the organism in which you are cutting, the organism from any plane, you will find the 2 halves, then it is called the radial. So here comes the biradial. So biradial are those organisms. Here what happened, you will find that 2 or 2 more than 2, then it will be radial. But here 2 planes, from 2 planes you will find the identical halves, from another planes you will not find the identical halves. So biradial has the only restriction of 2, but radial has from any plane. So from 2 plane, from any plane. So from any plane, if you are cutting, you will find this kind of symmetry. This kind of symmetry in coelentrates and echinoderms adult, not larva but the adult echinoderms. So guys, adult echinoderms and coelentrata may most common example is your jellyfish. So guys, these kind of organisms are, please remember these two, very 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 important. And from biradial there will be ctenophora and some of the members of the coelentrata, that is the sea anemone or adamsia. So these are the organisms which are actually consisting of different kind of symmetries in the as a feature. So guys, the third important thing is bilateral symmetry. So guys, what happens when radial symmetry is found in any organisms, you can call those organisms radiata, or if bilateral, then bilatera. So these are the group of organisms which were falling in the same categories. So guys, bilateral means if suppose there is an organism, suppose this is us. If you are cutting from this side, you will find that the left half and the right half. There are 2 halves that can be made from one plane. So from one plane, only one plane. Again, only one plane. Here it was only one plane. Only one plane. Say you will find 2 equal halves, 2 identical halves. So these are organisms which have 2 identical halves from a single plane. So in this category you will find Platyhelminthes to chordates. All the organisms are what? All the organisms are bilateral. And the most important thing here is echinoderms are not here. Only echinoderm larva. The larva of the echinoderms, radiolaria, and you have learned of that many kind of larvae are there in the echinoderms. I will come to that when I will be studying the actually echinoderms. So echinodermal larvae are those organisms which are having bilateral symmetry. Otherwise, all the echinoderms have the radial symmetry. So guys, the fourth important thing here is the germ layer. What is germ layer? Germ layer is now you have learned all the body plans, like kind of things with anatomical parts, all the things you have covered. But now in the anatomy you will find that there are different layers of the cells which are actually consisting the organism. So what happens? Fourth number is germ layer. On the basis of germ layers, the organisms can be diploblastic or triploblastic. So guys, diploblastic, if you will see any organism, you will find that there is the outer part, that is the ectoderm, which is the skin, you will say. The second part, which will be the mesoderm, and this is the endoderm, the innermost part. Derm means layer, endo means undercut. So internal layer are the endoderm. So what happens now? See, suppose development is going on. When suppose you are a fetus, then fetus you will come like a baby, and usse bhi beyond if you go the embryo, zygote. Then when you are zygote, when any organism is a zygote, then what happens? Those zygotes has kind of differentiations. All the cells are differentiating and accumulating at a different layer. Suppose there is a necessity of bone, then all the cells which are going to be in future the bone, that will be accumulated at the same place, and then they will develop. So this development starts with the three layers, and these layers are actually the ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. So these will constitute again the like kind of fate of the organism, which cell is going to produce which organism and which part of the body. So diploblastic you will find only ectoderm and endoderm. But in the organisms like triploblastic, you will find ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. All the three layers you will find ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. So guys, the most important thing which is actually to note here is that in these organisms there is a mesoglia kind of thing. This mesoglia are what? Mesoglia are undifferentiated. They are not differentiated into cell, but what they are? Undifferentiated, non-cellular. They are not cell, but they are what? They are matter, organic matter, or you can say any kind of debris. So these debris forms the mesoglia in the diploblastic organism. Now, what are the organisms which can be kept in the diploblastic, and which are the organisms which can be kept in the triploblastic? For diploblastic, you will find that sponges or Porifera to Ctenophora. These organisms have the diploblastic organization. Otherwise, all the organisms that are beyond the Platyhelminthes are Platyhelminthes. Or you can remember in this way that the worms above. Worms starts from Platyhelminthes, worms and above. From worms, what happens? Diploblastic organizations comes into existence. Platyhelminthes to Chordata all are triploblastic. Now the fifth most important thing is the coelom. On the basis of coelom. So guys, what is coelom? Suppose if there is a body, here you have learned that there is a three kind of layers, but between these layers there is a hollow structure, or you can say the empty space between what? The mesoderm. Suppose this is an organism, it has a like ectoderm, then this is endoderm, and then what happens here? The mesoderm is divided into two layers. The inner mesoderm, that is the peritoneum, and the outer peritoneum. Remember peritoneum from lungs you can remember. If you know that the lungs has the outer layer, lungs is covered by the peritoneum, the membrane of the lungs which covers it, the peritoneum. So peritoneum is the innermost layer and the outer here the mesodermal, outer mesodermal layer will be there. So internal mesodermal and internal mesodermal layer, outer mesodermal layer. Between these you will find that there is an empty space, or you can say coelom. It is called as the coelom. So coelom if present is the acoelomate, not present is the acoelomate. If it is present will be coelomate, and if it is present but in not like complete manner, or complete, you can say not complete cavity is found, it is actually the body cavity. Coelom is also called the body cavity. Coelom is also called the body cavity. So the body cavity is present between the mesodermal layer, and it has kind of fluid, and these fluids are actually secreted by the peritoneum or the internal mesodermal membrane. Internal mesodermal membrane. Please remember it. Peritoneum is secreted by internal mesodermal membrane. So what happens in acoelomate organism? This space is not found, and the example of this is from sponges, or you can say porifera, to platyhelminthes. So guys, what happens? Sponges to platyhelminthes, there is no kind of proper body cavity. So what is there? There is a parenchymal secretion. Parenchyma, or you can say parenchymal secretion. So parenchyma is there, which actually constitute the coelom, this small cavity part, and it is kind of absent. It is kind of absent, not found, but it is like negligible kind of these things are found. So parenchyma secretions are found at the place of mesodermal, or you can say the coelomic fluid. So this is now the pseudocoelomate. Example of pseudocoelomates are Aschelminthes or nematodes or roundworm. All are the name of the same organism. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomates, and coelomates are actually from Annelida to Chordata. Annelida to Chordata. Now again there is a differentiation of this kind of coelomates into the schizocoelomate and the enterocoelomate. So guys, let's now actually build concept. It is actually that concept which can be clear, which should be clear actually for the examination point of views. So guys, let's consider, suppose this is a organism with this kind of organization where it is the ectoderm. I am writing it as EC. This is the mesoderm, and this is the again the mesoderm, internal mesoderm, and this is the endoderm, EN I am writing. Okay? Then what happens? Suppose this is a part of, this is actually the coelom or body cavity. Then what happens? In pseudocoelomate, you will find the patches of mesoderm. You will find the patches of mesoderm in the cavity. There is no proper coelom, so they are what? Pseudocoelomates. So these are pseudocoelomates. But guys, what happens in schizocoelomate actually? Schizocoelomates are actually found from splitting of mesoderm, which I was discussing here, that the splitting of mesoderm occurred and then the schizocoelomates are formed. So schizocoelomates have the splitting of mesoderms, and it is found in Annelida to mollusca. Annelida to mollusca. Let's come here. Annelida to Chordata. Mollusca we have covered. And enterocoelomates from echinoderms to Chordata. echinoderms and chordata all have enterocoelomate. Now this enterocoelomate, what happens in enterocoelomate? Here what happened? There is a splitting of mesoderm, as I have said there. This has kind of fluid, and this fluid is called the coelomic fluid. Coelomic fluid, and it is secreted by the peritoneum or the internal mesoderm. But this was what? The schizocoelomate. Schizocoelomate. Now consider enterocoelomate. What happens in enterocoelomate? Enterocoelomate has also, this is eucoelomate now. Enterocoelomate, so coelomates are also called the eucoelomates. Okay. Sometimes you will be like confused states when you are like appearing exam. So these are both are the same things, coelomates or eucoelomates. So guys, enterocoelomates are having ectodermal layer, endodermal layer, internal mesoderm, outer mesoderm, inner and outer mesoderm, mesoderm O, mesoderm I. But in this area, or you can say coelom or body cavity, what happens? You will find a hollow kind of outgrowth. So the feature of enterocoelomate is the hollow outgrowth. Hollow outgrowth in the coelom. Here what was there? Here there was a splitting of mesoderm. But here what is this? This is the hollow outgrowth. So hollow outgrowth is the feature of entero. Entero means intestine से relation है entero का. So entero में intestine you will look, then what is that? That is the hollow outgrowth. So it is found in this way. So the fifth or sixth important thing is very I know this class is becoming lengthier, so please forgive. And but because these concepts are very important, you cannot leave and you cannot go further in classifying the organism without understanding all the logics. So there are actually, we have covered 5 things. Now we are considering the 6th thing, that is the segmentation. Segmentation, what is segmentation? Or you can say the metamerism. Metamerism. The fundamental unit of metamerism is metameres. So there is a very good example which is coming in my mind is of scorpion. Scorpion, bichu, you all know. Scorpion. Scorpion. Something like this kind of structure is of the bichu or scorpion. So you will find that the body is divided into different compartments, and these compartments will form the segmentation, and each compartment is called the metamere, and the phenomenon is called the segmentation or metamerism. So what happens? This kind of organization of the body will form the basis of the classification sometimes. So segmentation is not found in or you can say no metamerism or metameric. So metameric and non-metameric, metamerism or no metamerism, you can say. There is no like confined term for these things. So no metamerism is found from sponges, or you can say porifera to porifera to Scalmanthus, roundworms, nematodes. Nematodes. And from annelid onwards, you will find that annelids onward, annelids to chordates. When I am using this term onward, you think that the onward means higher organisms. Okay. So annelids onwards, there will be metameres. In arthropods you will find, and all these things you will find. So guys, here there is one term missing, that is the homocele. Homocele is related with The annelid and cockroach. Cockroach you have heard in 12th class. What happens in cockroach? You will find the homocele. Homocele is a place where the blood is found. So it is called the homocele. So it is actually the body cavity where the blood is found instead of what? The actually mesodermal cell. And you will know that the blood is what? Blood is also the derivatives of the mesoderm. So it is found at the place of mesoderm in the cockroaches and, or you can say arthropoda and annelida. So these are the homocele. So I was missing this term, so I have covered it. Okay. The fifth, the sixth, seventh important thing here is the notocode. On the basis of notocode, notocode is what? Notocode is mesodermally derived rod-like structure. Rod-like structure. It is actually for the support. What happens when I was in 12th or 11th, you can say, I was very confused. What is this notocode? What is spinal cord? What is vertebra? And all these things were very confusing for me. So I would like to clear all these doubts to you guys. So actually spines are different things. Spines are nerves. Okay? And you will find that there is a vertebral column. Vertebral columns are there which actually protects the spinal cord. So these vertebrae, or you can say vertebra, are the actually the notochords, or you can say advanced notochord. So advancement of notochord is vertebra, but spinal cord has no relation with the what? Vertebra and all. All these are three things. Notochords, which are like kind of less advanced vertebra. Advanced notochord is vertebra, and the spinal cord is the nerve. Okay, the bundle of nerve, you can say tract of nerve. So on the basis of this, there is non-chordate and chordate. You all know non-chordata, chordata, and in between the hemichordata. Hemichordata. So guys, the organism in which these kind of rod-like structure notochord is found is chordata, and it is from echinoderm के बाद वाला, मतलब you can say all the chordates from Pisces to above. Pisces to mammals all are. Pisces, fishes to mammals. Fishes से भी पहले वाला tunicates and like kind of agnathas all are here. Hemichordata is the another kind of you can say phylum, or it consists like kind of organisms which like are the worms actually. What happens in this hemichordates? Hemichordates has in the larval stage notochord is present, but when they become adult, no notochord. But in non-chordate, in both larval, fetus, embryonic, any stage pe there will not be the presence of notochord. So non-chordata are from sponges to echinoderms. Echinoderms. So guys, the last important thing here is the eighth part, that is on the basis of homeostasis. On the basis of homeostasis, or you can say temperature regulation. On the basis of temperature regulation, the organism is classified into poikilotherms and homeotherms. So as homeotherms and poikilotherms. Poikilotherms are cold-blooded animals, and these are the warm-blooded animals. Garam खून वाले. We are in this category. Garam खून हमारा है ना भाई. So aves and we, mammals, we all are warm-blooded animal. ठीक है? And the cold-blooded animal category has sponges to all. Now understand what is this warm-blooded and what is this cold-blooded and warm-blooded. To reptiles. What happens? Actually, this is called the homeostasis. Homeostasis you all know. Temperature homeostasis specifically. Homeostasis is the acquiring of the like kind of balanced state. or you can say the equilibrium state. So suppose this is the environment and this is our body. This is not our body but any organism body. If the organism is able to do homeostasis to regulate the temperature or to acquire the optimum temperature, then it is called the homeotherms. Homeostasis, they are maintaining what? They are maintaining the temperature, body temperature according to their desire, what they need. But in the cold-blooded organism, what they do not have the homeostasis system, but they are not maintaining the temperature, but what they are doing, they are actually changing the temperature of the body according to the environment. Suppose environment is cold, the body will be cold. But we have to keep the temperature what? At 37 degrees centigrade. So this is the difference between homeotherms and poikilotherms. So please remember these things, these are very important, and please make a note, make a list which animal are pseudocoelomates. This is a very hot question. So please make a list that what organisms are what, and there are many connecting links which are actually forming the organism that I'll describe while I will be taking the class of the phylums separately. So guys, thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel and please like the video and comment please. And if you need improvement, please don't hesitate, and please, if I'm not teaching you like kind of in a wrong manner, you will tell me in the comment box. You are free to do. Then that will be the basis for the like kind of improvement which I am going to do in the upcoming lectures. So guys, thank you so much.